Los Angeles, California, June 12, 2026. The first FIFA World Cup match played on American soil in 32 years. The last time this happened, it was 1994. There was no internet, no smartphones. A generation of American soccer fans had waited their entire lives for this moment. And then, in just 7 minutes, the United States made sure nobody would forget it. 4 goals, a performance 32 years in the making. This is what really happened. The match began with barely enough time to find your seat. 7 minutes in, Paraguay defender Damian Bobadilla, under pressure inside his own box, turned the ball into his own net. The United States had the lead before most fans had opened their drinks. Then Folarin Balogun took over. 31st minute, goal. 1-0 becomes 2-0. 45th minute, 5 minutes into stoppage time, last kick of the half, Balogun again, 3-0. At halftime, this was already over. Paraguay pulled one back in the 73rd minute, a moment of quality that kept their goal difference alive. But Gio Reyna answered in the 90th final score, USA 4, Paraguay 1. The loudest stadium in Los Angeles hadn't had noise like this in decades. Let's start with Folarin Balogun. Because his story might be the most extraordinary of any player in this entire World Cup. His parents, both Nigerian, were living in London when his mother came to visit family in Brooklyn in the summer of 2001. She was 7 months pregnant. The plan was simple: visit, then fly home to have the baby in London. But when she went to board the return flight, the airline refused to let her on. Too pregnant to fly. So she stayed. And on July 3, 2001, Folarin Balogun was born in Brooklyn, New York, accidentally making him an American citizen. His family moved back to London 1 month later. He grew up English, played for Arsenal, represented England at youth level 28 times. England assumed he was this. But in 2023, after being overlooked by the senior England setup, Balogun flew to Orlando, met with US soccer officials, and made a choice. Live, he posted on Instagram, "Go where you are appreciated." Tonight, in his first World Cup match, he scored twice. The first American to score multiple goals in a World Cup game since 1930. A missed flight, a baby born in Brooklyn, and 24 years later, the defining moment of the 2026 World Cup's opening weekend. But Balogun's wasn't the night's only story. In the second half, Mauricio Pochettino brought on a substitute named Sebastian Berhalter, 25 years old, midfielder, Vancouver Whitecaps. His father, Greg Berhalter, coached this same US team at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Sebastian was in the stands that day, watching. Not good enough to play, his father had told him honestly, not even close. So Sebastian bought a miniature World Cup trophy from a concession stand in Qatar. He took it home as a reminder of where he needed to go. 4 years later, he earned his place on the 2026 roster. And the week before this match, Greg wrote his son a letter, part of FIFA's Letters That Unite series. Sebastian read it on camera and couldn't hold it together. His father wrote, "I'm proud of you because of who you are, not because of what you accomplished. You stayed humble through it all. You stayed grounded. You stayed kind. You end this. When Sebastian came on in the second half tonight, he and his father became just the second American father-son pair in World Cup history to both represent the Stars and Stripes, joining Claudio and Gio Reyna. And Greg Berhalter was watching from the stands as a father, not a coach, watching his son live live the dream he once told him was out of reach. Now let's talk about what this team actually did on the pitch. That first half, 45 minutes of football produced 3 goals, 65 possession, and a performance that had commentators watching. US didn't just win, they overwhelmed. 16 shots to Paraguay's 9, 6 on target to Paraguay's 1, and a defensive display that kept things comfortable even when Paraguay pulled one back. This is a different team to 2026. Everyone in LA knew it tonight. Here's the number that barely anyone is talking about today. While Balogun was getting all the headlines, and rightfully so, one player had one of the most statistically perfect games you'll ever see at the World Cup. Defender Chris Richards completed 83 passes tonight. All 83. Not one misplaced, not one wasted. 100% passing accuracy across an entire World Cup. In fact, he got the most accurate passes in a perfect performance single FIFA World Cup match. If you see the chart, he's now on top. Has completed 83 out of 83 amongst 4 people: John Stones, Miranda, and George Popescu. If you put these 4 individuals together, Chris Richards has the highest as of now. That kind of precision from a central defender isn't just impressive, it's a tactical statement. It tells you how comfortable the US were. And here's the wider picture. Balogun could have been English or Nigerian, Pulisic could have been Croatian, Dest could have been Dutch, Robinson could have been Jamaican. The US Soccer Federation has spent a decade quietly recruiting anyone with an American connection, birthright, grandparents, childhood residency. Tonight was the result of that decade of work. 4 goals, a generation of recruitment, one very loud stadium in Los Angeles. In beyond the 90 minutes, this match happened in Los Angeles, which matters more than you might think. LA is the second largest city in the United States. It's also one of the most Latino cities in America. Roughly half its population is Hispanic or Latino, many of them with roots in Mexico, Central America, and South America. Tonight, those same streets were filled with US soccer fans, many of them wearing the Stars and Stripes, while their parents and grandparents grew up watching the countries they left behind play this exact sport. That tension between identity and belonging, heritage and choice, is exactly what Folarin Balogun's story is about. Exactly what Sebastian Berhalter's story is about. Exactly what this US team, assembled from across the world, represents. Los Angeles was the perfect city to host this game. It's been telling that story for a century. So what happens next? Where does Group D stand after tonight? The United States sit top, 3 points plus 3 goal difference. Their next game is against Australia on June 19th in Seattle. Win that and they almost certainly advance to the round of 32 as group winners. Paraguay are in serious trouble, minus 3 goal difference. They face Turkey next, and essentially need a win to stay alive. For the United States, the real test comes later in the group and beyond. against the bigger nations. But tonight was a statement, a signal to the rest of the tournament that this team is not here to make up the numbers. I'll have a full preview of the US vs Australia match right here before kickoff.